Okay, in video 4, we're going to produce some geometry, an underlying breastplate, and do a couple of methods. We'll do is append a Z-sphere, hit X, scale the Z-sphere down so it's just out of view. We don't really need to see it. Okay, just took it away. And in your menu at the bottom, topology, edit topology. Draw size down to a fairly low size. And we're going to start drawing our topology out directly onto this mesh. Start in the center. Oops. This is a great thing about this little function in the latest release of ZBrush. We can scroll through the undos. Clicking. Not too concerned about edge loops and how neat and tidy this is, just as long as we've got a nice clean leading edge. We're going to keep the back separate because our girl's slim, but she'd never fit into this without a hole at the back. I'm freehanding this, I'm just playing around. And look for the red dots. We will be trying out the topology brush that ZBrush have just released the latest version. This is the mainstay of my retopology in the past. And it's always served me well. And there are a couple of tricks we can do before we generate the piece of geometry. We can decide the thickness of the piece before we make it an adaptive skin, which is a lovely feature, especially this kind of subject matter. Visibility is a nightmare. I filled the base model with red skin wax. I regret that now, because if we hadn't, we could have dropped the colour so this would be more visible. I think later on what we'll do is poly paint onto the surface of the red wax where we want our lines to go. Make this more visible. Okay. On a project like this isn't my preferred method of doing this kind of thing. I like the mesh extract by masking, but I think it's worthwhile demonstrating this method too. Nearly there. Don't mind a few triangles now and again. And don't forget, this can be completely retopologized with Curie Mesher, should you want it to. I mean, should you need a more efficient topology. For now, we're at the previous stage, as it were, so we're going to allow ourselves to be a little bit sloppy. Nearly there. Okay, that will do us for now. And in adaptive skin, you can press A to view it. It's obviously sunk into the body there. So on this slider here, we can change the preview thickness. Get it to the thickness we like. And it also produces a nice edge loop, which is very, very useful, especially when you subdivide. Okay, density down to 1. Let's preview that again. Like that. So, make adaptive skin. Back to our model. This is actually the Z-sphere. We can get rid of that. Let's pin that piece. There we go. Subdivide it a few times and see how those edge loops kept the shape. Nice crisp edge. And I'm instinctively pressing X symmetry whenever I generate these pieces. Okay, what have we got? Just using smooth. Tidy up these edges. Another trick is when you're using the smooth brush, as you're smoothing, take your finger off the smooth brush and it instigates a secondary version of smooth. Just pull those out. Okay. That's a nice hard surface piece on the breastplate. I think we're going to produce some nice pieces on the arm. This time, standard brush. And just mask out an area where you want the panel to be. You might do 2 pieces per forearm. Obviously, she's got to get her arm down the diameter of this tube, so it needs to be in 2 separate pieces. It's okay. Oh, a little bit there. I think while we're here on this same extraction, we'll just make some other parts and just tidy that edge up. Nice panel on the upper arm. Now the theory is these will be almost glued to the catsuit. So it is an it's an integrally all one suit that she presumably clambers into. Drop the resolution maybe 2. Extract is set to the same as before. There we go, that's nice. Accept it. Clear the mask. Drop to that new subtool. X. Using smooth. Just temporarily, initially tidy these edges. That automated mask saves you so much work. So useful. Okay. You happy? Clear the mask. There we go. Alright, what should we do next? Oh yeah, these have actually got edge loops as well. It is a nice clean mesh. Once it's been subdivided, you can go in there with your hard surface brush and sharpen up those edges. But again, we're going for soft on this. Okay. And we'll go back to our main model, the figure. Raise it up so we get a nice edge when we mask. Drop the draw size. Should work on next. Just some breastplates. I don't like to do too many of these mesh extracts by masks at the same time, because if they're too near each other, they can blur and the geometry joins. It can be very frustrating to clean it up. Make sure we've got the whole of that area under there. And making them as separate extractions allows you to manipulate one against the edge of another. Extract, same settings as before, accept, clear the mask, drop to the new subtool, X, brush size up and use smooth. Okay. A couple of subdivisions. Not too bad. Just pull. Don't try and use the pull brush on too high a subdivision level. You just get yourselves in all kinds of trouble. It's probably too high now, but I'm getting away with it. So we can tuck this piece against the previous one we created with a Z-sphere retopology. Okay. So you'll find me then I constantly group visible in the polygroups panel. I do it instinctively. back here, I'm just going to make some more plates. Exactly the same method. I think at some point in this video, I'll just invert that, they're too close together. I will add additional plates before we continue, so that you don't have to sit through and watch me do every single one of these. Okay. Most of these are not even recognizably geometric shapes. We're trying to follow the contours of the female form underneath. Again, constantly with the idea that it forms some kind of protection. It's trying to keep it looking feminine as well. That's difficult. Extract. Try that again. Higher sub D. Let's see what that's like. Drop down. That's exactly the point I made. They were too close, but we can use that to our advantage. You sometimes get happy mistakes, where we can use that as just a piece of form. Clear. Okay, subdivide and smooth. Right. So you get the gist of what I'm doing with mesh extract by masking. It's highly effective, and we'll continue this in the next video, working on the legs and thighs.